Okay, welcome to the bonus episode of Roleplaying with Roleplaying in the Bunker. Doomsday Doopy Doo. I'm Nick. I'm here with Chris. And I'm going to turn it over to Chris, who's going to explain briefly Gamma World.
Hi, everybody. I am Chris. I will be your game master.
And
Sounds so powerful.
I'd like to... We have beer and pretzels on the table, so I'm going to try and chew away from Mike. But while you go, I don't know why I'm hungry, because it's late, and the later it gets, the more shit I eat.
That's fine. And the beer is Founder's Solid Gold, as per is
standard in this house.
And it's the last waning quantities of solid gold of the summer. Still, I'm thinking, sure too. Right?
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
Gamma World. This game is about what happens at the end of the world. It's about the people who are left behind, struggling every day for survival, the strong feeding on the weak. And this is after the end of all things, the things that ended the earth, the technology that got out of control. The idea that nobody really knows why it happened, but that it did. And when it did happen, it went wrong in a big way. Every weapon system imaginable, from nuclear, biological, nanotechnology, EMP pulses were used to eradicate technology in whole cities so that armies could march in and take over. Or biological weapons were dropped on cities to destroy populations. Obviously, nuclear weapons dropped to eradicate whole cities or quadrants of the country, of the world. And what's left 3 generations later are the survivors struggling in the ruins of that world, trying to put everything back together. Struggling to not give in to their most base of emotions, and to reconstruct civilization, hopefully into something that will work better. And amidst the ruins of that, our story is a story of a boy. A boy who was captured at a very young age from a frontier town and taken prisoner by a group of marauders, more beasts than men. Half machine, mutated, selfish and greedy, and looking for slaves. And the boy was captured and taken to a place called the Citadel. The city, a vast city structured, built around a large tower filled with mysterious entities that we'll get into later. These slaves that were taken were brought for various purposes. Many of them were used in scavenging, and they were sent into these dark places filled with the old technology, sent to distract people, trip traps, and other various odious things that they were forced to do. So as I paint that picture, I'm going to leave Nick to describe his character up to this point. Physically describe your character, who you are, where you're from, what you're about.
Okay. From when I was captured, or
let's go before. You can go before. Tell me your character story up to the point to where I described, and maybe I jumped the gun.
No. You laid the groundwork there. So I was a young boy, 10, in a small community mixed, basically like a plantation. We were a mixed community of mutants and stock. More stock than mutants, but we tolerated mutants. I was always a large boy, big boned, and I was often mistaken as a mutant given my abnormal size for someone my age. Mother and father. I don't know how deep I'm supposed to go into this, but this is my first character, ladies and gentlemen, so I didn't know how much is supposed to go. But I'll tell you that mother and father fought a lot about my upbringing. Mother felt that it was over, that this time was new. And but my father, he thought it had just begun. I was taken one night in the middle of the night. Don't know what happened to my parents. I saw them being dragged basically in an opposite direction. I was taken to this citadel, right? Is that what it's called?
The Citadel, yes.
Yep. And I was made to pull plows, cut lumber. Like you said, I was sent out as decoys for hunting purposes or for scavenging. We tracked dangerous game animals. Used to chase us up trees. When they caught us, they mauled us. Most of us that would go out wouldn't come back. Given my size, I seemed to fare well.
And something, let me jump in because this is an idea that I have. You know, when they took you out, they referred to many of you as rabbits. Oh. They were his rabbits. See, the main marauder that captured you, his name was Husk. And he was an evil creature with a burning red eye, half machine and half mutant. And he captured you, and he would take you out with groups of people and would leash you like an animal, literally, and drag you along and set you loose to do these tasks, whether they were distracting people so that you could rob them or setting off traps or sending you through a minefield or something dangerous. Mm-hmm. And like you said, most of them died. And he referred to you because of your size as a little piggy. You were his piggy, and he never expected you to live. In spite of that, going out over and over on so many missions with Husk and his raiders, raiding villages and towns and going through dangerous ruins, you survived again and again and again. His little prize piggy that he kept shoved in a cell in the dark. His most reliable tool. But he never treated you with kindness.
So, I happened upon an old man. Do I go into getting older here?
No, let's do that. Let's go through that right now. So, because I want to play the old man. So, you were kept in the bowels of the city, down below, never to see the sunlight except for when you were taken out on one of these missions or errands, shoved in a cell, never given any form of freedom, treated like an animal, subhuman. Clearly, you can tell that the echelon or the upper tiers of this society valued the fact that they were modified. And the city is very tied to this tower in the center of it, this structure that's driven into the ground. Because all of the technology that they find and they locate, they'll bring there. And a group of people called the Keepers will come out and identify the technology. And as a payment for this, identifying this technology and bringing this knowledge of the past to bear so that this stuff could be used in a useful way, they get their choice of the pieces of technology that are presented to them. And they go inside of their temple, their pillar, their fortress with this technology. And what's done with this information or with this equipment, you have no idea, other than that's the price that they ask you to pay for their services. And the Keepers are a group of these warrior monk type individuals. They're very in tune with technology. Many of them are recruited from the population of the Citadel, which, like I said, is this vast city of individuals. And also understand that there are multiple marauding bands that live in this city peacefully amongst each other, understanding that the rules that the keepers in the Citadel put forth. You live in this dark bowels of where Husk's marauding group, is occupied for their home. And there was a man, an old man, as you pointed out, named Griggs, who would walk around and clean the cells, and he had a limp and a crude cybernetic leg as he limped around. And he took a liking to you over time. And also that you were a familiar face. There was a lot of turnover here. Like we said, a lot of people died. The job that you're doing is not pleasant. It's dangerous. There's not a high life expectancy for this type of work. Mm-hmm. And it's almost a miracle that you've lived as long as you have and actually grown out of the awkwardness of your body and into a frame that's much more, average. You're thick, you're strong. You're made of sturdy stock. You're quick. Obviously, you think quickly and you're able to adapt. And Griggs would let you out of the cell and be kind to you. You almost were like an animal at a point where no one spoke to you and you were not asked to speak. So when he spoke to you, you felt a connection to him, like you're communicating with him, And this is probably an opportunity for some live role play. It's just a little bit awkward to segue into, but he opens your cage and says, "Come out. It's okay to come out. You can come out. There's nobody around. Come on out here. You can stretch your legs."
So
now you just talk. That's the hardest part. You never say "I say" or whatever. You just talk.
I play this. I play my character.
You're playing your character right now, yeah.
So and I don't know if I should trust this person. So, and I'm not supposed to be saying that out loud either.
No, you can say it out loud.
Okay, so I look at him and I ask him, I said, what do you mean? Come out and stretch my legs.
It's okay. Come on out, kid.
It's
safe. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not your enemy. Come on. Come over here. I want to give you this to drink. Come on. This will pep you up a little bit.
Okay. So, I've seen this guy before.
He's always around. He's always been kind. He's never been cruel. He's never shouting. He's not, dramatically deformed or overtly. He's never been involved in any of the punishments that you get, And let's understand that when Husk takes you out and you are with a group of people and they decide not to comply with what he wants them to do, he has a bunch of cybernetic hounds that he will sick on them to ensure that they go the direction that he wants them to go, or he will hit them with an electric cattle prod or some kind of stun device to get them moving in the direction he wants. He will use them as an end, and you ended up where you are because of your skill set specifically, where they felt that you fit in. Certain people go to certain things. If they were to kidnap women from a village, they would go to the pleasure houses. If they had kidnapped skilled people and medical people, they would go into those fields. The children they used for whatever purposes they felt that they fit.
All right, so I hadn't had a drink of anything in a while, and at this point, fuck it, I guess. Does it get any worse? It can't be worse. Can't be as bad as the Husk.
All right.
So I cautiously take the drink.
All right. And he doesn't move his hand. He keeps his hand to where it is and lets you take your time, almost as if you were a scared or frightened dog or something. I'm going to let you take your time, sniff my hand. He lets you come to the seal cup and you grab a hold of it, and it's warm. It's a cold night.
Okay. So I take a sip.
You take a sip, and as you take a sip, you feel the warmth.
I should smell that first.
Seep through your body, coursing through you, and you feel energized, invigorated a little bit from a long day of running around or pulling something, or literally they would just have you carry shit. Like, here, carry this shit that we found. These bags of stuff, junk that they would pull from the ruins and try to have the keepers identify and sell. And this drink, whatever it is warm, and it's cozy, it's welcoming, it's inviting. You just feel happier consuming it. And energized, like you have energy.
Okay. So I I thank him.
All right, just say thank you.
Oh, yeah. Is that how you do it?
That's how you do it.
All right. Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, and it feels strange for you to speak because you almost never get to use your voice, so it's almost like a foreign thing. You constantly live in this place of inner dialogue, and you've dialed it back to, like, just like I said, the core, basic, like, survival instincts, right? Just get through the day. You're welcome, kid. I've been watching you.
And you've been watching me?
I've seen you, yeah. I've seen your face more than I've seen anybody else's face. And I think, I think you're going to be okay, kid. You're a survivor. You're going to make it.
Out of here doesn't seem so.
Yeah, you're going to make it. You're going to make it in general. What's your name, kid?
I'm Meecho.
Meecho. It's a strong name.
Thank you.
Where do you come from, Meecho?
I come from a small plantation. I don't know how far from here, but it was. I'm not sure I should tell you where it's from. I guess it doesn't matter. They've been there already. It's called Timberland.
Okay. You got people? Your people still alive, kid?
I don't know.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, stay alive, kid, and maybe you'll see your people again.
I don't see how. What do you do here?
Well, I'm the keeper here. I take care of the facilities. I take care of some of the equipment. I take care of some of the weapons. I'm like a master at arms of sorts. I'm not much more important to them than you are. I mean, I'm no good to them. I'm a gimp. You see my foot.
But they trust you with this stuff?
They trust me as much as they trust anybody. I mean, I just know right now that there's nobody around for a while. They might come back.
Well, when you get in trouble for speaking with me?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I'd be fucked.
Well, I'm not sure what to say. You risk that just to give me a drink and speak to me, make me feel like a person again. And I appreciate it. Is there anything I could do in return for this drink?
Just stay alive, kid. And he comes over and he puts a blanket over your shoulders, and he's very kind, and he treats you over the course of the next few hours like a person. And as the hours turn into days and the days turns into weeks, this is more of a common occurrence nightly. There are a window every night for several hours where you're afforded this freedom, where he lets you out. And he says it's because no one else has lasted as long as you. Enough for him to be even familiar with them, because the cells that sit around you end up empty most of the times because they're so disposable. And for whatever reason, and whatever it is that's special about you, you seem to survive day after day. Something in your heart, in your will, that drives you. So he continues to let you out. And he explains he was a soldier once, not long ago. And he fought in wars against other towns and other cities. Because let's not forget that this is, several generations after the end of the Great Wars. And there were periods of unrest where people just were trying to take things from other people before the Citadel was established. And even he was captured at some point and brought here, and his skills were put to use, which were mechanical and technical in nature, and the care of the equipment and the weapons. And he begins to offer you this opportunity that he would start to train you to defend yourself. So if the opportunity ever arose that you could get away, you can get out into civilization, well, not civilization, out into the wilds, that you would be able to defend yourself. So he starts to become a sensei of sorts for you. And he begins to train you on the use of some of the basic weapons. Sword, the staff. And at night, it becomes the thing that you look forward to throughout the whole day. The thing that you're focused on, like a laser, this ability, this idea that you're going to have these few hours of freedom where you get to express yourself, even if it's in this martial form. Combat. Practice. The sweat of it is more rewarding than the sweat that you get when you're running for your life. So he trains you over the course of the next few weeks and eventually months in the use of weapons, which is very much a no-no for Husk. He does not want his rabbits to know how to fight because it's not an instinct he wants you to have.
Sure.
And then every night he reluctantly puts you back in your cell, invigorated by the drink that he gives you and the sustenance he gives your soul by giving you this meaning. And the fact that you have this exposure to humanity that you don't have for the rest of the day.
Okay.
And then the day comes when, once again, Husk comes down and hooks his leash up to your harness and drags you up and takes you out on another mission. And the day when you are running and suddenly your instincts tell you to not run anymore, to defend yourself almost from something. As you run through the ruins of this place, a trap is sprung, and your instinct is to grab a stick or a pole and block it up. And you were surely going to die, but somehow you jam this pole and you block this trap and you live. But let's notice that something has changed about you. And he's a little rough with you as he harnesses you up and takes you back down and shoves you in your cell. And that night, when the old man, Griggs, comes to you and pulls you, or not pulls you, he opens the door and lets you out, gives you the drink, and you start your practice. You pick up the bow staff, you start to spin it around, and you could jump in any moment. I don't have to just be like a narrative because it's going to get boring. It's just a narrative.
I don't know. I'm not sure what to do.
Well, you jump in whenever you feel like it. You and he are practicing, and
oh, okay. So, but now, because I have questions.
Okay, ask the questions.
Okay, not of Griggs, of just what you've just said.
Yeah. Okay. Go.
Okay. So,
you can come out of character. It's okay.
Okay. So, you said Husk noticed that there's something different about me. Did I notice this?
Well, we could do our first difficulty check right now and see if you even noticed it.
Okay.
What is your wisdom?
10.
So you have no bonus there, right?
No.
This is where a GM screen would come in really handy, which I noticed this is another part of my gripe. So I don't think they make them anymore, but a GM screen would be like, it blocks you from me. But more importantly, on the screen are all the key tables and charts that you need to do all so you're not doing all this stuff with the book.
I used to have a production board for shooting scripts. There'd be like this, it was this big, long leather tri-fold or four-fold. You would stick shooting strips into it.
Yeah.
I wonder if I still have it.
It's very similar.
Because then you could stick all your sheets in it.
There were some that you could print, but it just seemed really lame.
Print a board?
You can print the paper up and put it. They said, and then buy some poster board. I go, that's
I guess. Yeah, that's true.
Fucking bullshit, though. Just sell me a goddamn board. Do you have any skills that might be perception based?
Let's see. Well, am I at level now? Can I use these skills?
Go ahead and you're at full third level. We're just going to do that.
Okay.
Skills. All right, there we go.
No, I don't have investigate.
Investigate.
No, I don't have investigate.
How about sense motive?
No, I didn't give myself sense motive. I should have. I do have survival. I do have knowledge streetwise. What else do I have? Hide, jump, knowledge, streetwise, attack, move silently, survival. And I could swim a little bit. Does that help me here?
Not right now, no.
No, not right now.
All right, well, roll a 20-sided die. You have no modifiers, and let's see what you get.
16.
Right. Difficulty check was a 15. You rolled a 16.
Get out of here.
So you certainly noticed that he took note of the change in you.
Okay.
So that night, the old man comes and lets you out, as he typically does.
Okay. So, Griggs. That's your name, right? Griggs?
Yes, that's my name. I'm Riggs.
I don't like the way Husk looked at me today. Something was off.
What do you mean?
Well, a trap was in his spring. And I took my walking stick. Did I have a walking stick at the time? No, probably not.
And it was probably more like you grabbed a pole from the rubble or something.
Oh. I saw the trap about the spring. I grabbed a nearby stick, and I used one of the throws you taught me. It plugged the trap, and I think Husk didn't seem to like that. It seemed like, I don't know. He just started looking at me differently after that. He started being rougher with me. And I don't know what it means, but I kind of feel like, I don't know, like maybe I might be being watched more intently. Or something's up.
So you don't think it's safe? Should I put you back in the cage?
I'd rather not be in the cage, but if this is something that's going to prevent me from ever coming out of it again, I don't know, maybe nip it in the bud and quell any suspicion.
You know what? Why don't we cross up? We'll figure that out.
Okay.
Come sit down. Come on.
And I sit next to him. What do you think I should do?
Well, just be more careful. I mean, but you got to survive out there. I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Well, if that trap would have sprung, I wouldn't be dead.
Do you think that's what he wants?
I don't know. I'm not sure he cares either way. Doesn't seem to.
That's a valid point.
But I want to ask him a question. This guy seems so real to me right now. I want to ask him a question.
Go ahead and ask him a question.
Why are you doing this, Riggs?
You know what, kid? A lot of stuff happens to you, and to survive, you just put it away. That's the only way you can survive. You put it away. I mean, you put it all away. Your humanity, you live day to day. You try not to dwell on it, but I don't know. I see you, and it just reminds me of something that I forgot a long time ago.
I understand.
So, he warms you up or whatever, and you're sitting there and gives you some food. And you have some conversation, and he talks about his experiences and how he ended up there. And then you guys go into your sparring, which is really the part that you get excited about. It's the part where you go from being this creature that is just constantly on the defensive to being able to be on the offensive, and and be aggressive, right? Mm-hmm. And it allows you to express that part of you that you've repressed so fully. And so you guys are fighting with these wooden sticks around this campfire in the lower areas. The roof is cracked open. You can see into the night sky, and the stars are shining particularly bright this night. And that's when you hear footsteps. And from the shadows, you see emerge 5 figures.
Okay. So, I do see them. You're saying I see them.
You do see them.
So, being on the show of Riggs, you see those guys?
Yeah, kid. Just go back. Back up. And from the shadows emerges what you know to be his Husk's son, who calls himself Maggot. Now, you think that maybe he's calling himself Maggot, like it's not really he doesn't really understand that that's not really a complimentary term. But they seem to take these very basic, simple names, almost like gang names, to claim themselves. Something to make themselves unique. Almost like he prides himself in crawling through the blood and the gore and living in those things. And because he's the son of the leader of this marauder tribe, he's particularly enabled to be the biggest piece of shit that you've ever seen in your entire life. He's particularly fond of his sword on his hip. And he has a rifle slung across his back. And firearms, his guns. It's one of the things that Citadel is they have a bullet factory. So they, bullets are very plentiful here. And the old school slug throwers and gunpowder type firearms. And he emerges from the shadows and he goes, "What have we got here?" And Riggs steps up and he says, "There's nothing to see here. Just a misunderstanding." "Yeah, it looks like a misunderstanding. This is exactly what my father sent me down here to look into."
Yeah, look, I just messed up.
You shut up.
Okay.
I don't want to hear your voice. I'm talking to him. And he's big. He's not quite as big as Husk, but he's big, probably about your age and very just arrogant and power mad and feeling like he's just the fucking cock of the walk,
Mm-hmm.
And he approaches Riggs and he is way bigger than him. He dwarfs him. And Riggs doesn't back down. He says, "Look, I let the kid out. It's totally on me, but I mean, you can't keep him, if you expect him to perform the next day, you got to keep him going. You got to give him something to, keep him going. You can't just, shove him in a hole and then expect him to run." And immediately Maggot just shoves him back. "You know what? I don't give a fuck if he lives or dies. He's absolutely expendable. We can find 100 more just like him. It's kind of irrelevant, even though he is my father's prize pig. Isn't that right, Piggy? Isn't that right?" So
how many guys in there?
There's 5.
Do I have any weapons on me?
Do you have the stick?
A stick, a slug gun, a sword.
And you've seen
I remain
the sword.
quiet. I remain quiet, but
Okay.
at the corner of my eyes, I start eyeing up the other 4 and seeing what weapons I see on them.
I mean, they all seem very at ease about the whole thing. Like they're not threatened at all by you or Riggs in the least bit. They're very overconfident right now that they have the upper hand. So they're laughing, they're making fun, they're throwing little fucking snide comments out there too, and they're just having a great time. But they're all pretty much standing. This is where if I had a map, it would be pretty good. But they're all pretty much standing right behind him. So if that's Maggot, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Riggs is here, and you're back here.
Okay, and we're in
It's like a circular room,
room,
and then the cells are on the perimeter of it, except for over here, which is the way that they came in. So there's really only one way out. Circular room, and it's lit by a fire right in this area. And now I'm drawing on a napkin.
Okay,
But it's working.
it is working. That's a pretty good visual.
So they're standing there.
Pretty outnumbered.
And then the roof is open like that in the middle. So it's kind of like some kind of like dome thing.
Okay. And
Or like a cone.
I look around and to see if there's anybody else. That's it.
No, I mean, there's a fire. In the fire, there's several brands, which, by the way, you wear the brand of this symbol on your chest where they branded you like their property, like a piece of fucking meat. It's flames with an iron
I
fist.
fucking
around
hate
it
these
like
guys,
this.
dude.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm working at. I'm kind of working at that.
Jesus Christ. I'm going to shove this guy's face in the fucking fire.
So yeah, I mean, so there are some metal tools about, things to, move hay around because you're living in these fucking cells and you're shitting on hay and they're just shoveling the shit out, So there's hay, there's pitchforks. You might be able to find like some kind of spear-like object, something like that.
Well, let me. I don't know if this is outside of the game talk or this is talk. It's definitely not character. My character isn't saying this.
Yep.
Do I know anything about the layout of this place? Like if I were to run out that opening right now, like would I know where I was?
You could find your way up and out. Sure, yeah. I mean, you've been here long enough. You know the corridors. You may not know your way completely around the city. You know, like one way through the city. So if you get sidetracked, you could get lost because it is big and sprawling.
Right.
But I mean, legitimately, yeah, you can get out of the building. You can get out into the neighborhoods. That's completely possible.
Griggs has a gimp leg, you said?
He's got like a robotic leg from, like, say, the knee down on his left leg.
Is he capable of running?
He's not a runner. He's more of a limper.
Now, this is a fucking pretty big decision to put on a fucking new player right off the fucking gate. Right out of the gate. All right, I gate him 5-2 with a guy with a gimp leg that I like a lot.
Yeah. But you do know that he moves quickly. He's capable with a stick.
He's been teaching me. He can probably do some fucking damage to these 4 schmucks.
But it's 2-on-5.
But it's 2-on-5. I'm
So what are you choosing to do?
I grab a brand and try to do this in one motion.
Okay.
I don't know what type of speed I have or what the fuck I have. And hoping that they're all laughing and they're all way overconfident in the situation. And so I rush to the fire, grab one of the scalding hot brands, and take a shot at the chin of Maggot.
Okay. All right. So, let's. What
I think that was a stupid move.
No. I mean,
find out in a
I don't
minute.
think there's any stupid moves. So,
Okay.
you can try a famous role playing show once said you can try anything.
Okay.
So what is your initiative modifier?
I have a +1.
Okay. We're gonna roll D20.
Okay.
And everyone rolls a D20, but you're gonna get a modifier because they're gonna get a negative because you are trying to surprise them. So actually, what's your roll? What's your move silently?
My total number?
Your total plus, yeah, modifier.
2 plus modifier. I'm at 3.
Okay, so you have a +3. So roll D20 +3 with a 15 difficulty. Basically, you want to end up over 15 with your +3.
Oh,
all right.
boy.
So they're going to see you coming, so we're going to roll initiative normally.
What does that mean?
So roll your D20 and add your initiative modifier, which is probably like +1, right?
Oh, I hit my other dice. What is 12? And then I add. What would you say? I add my initiative?
Add your initiative modifier.
1. It's 13.
Actually, hold on. Let me do this over because I should roll rigs first.
That's right. You're going to be rolling all 5 guys?
I got to roll 6 guys.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, my God. Okay, well, that's not good for him. 3. This guy's a 17. 3. 5. And a 13. He ends up with a 6. He's going to end up with a 4 because his modifiers. Okay. And then this guy's 18. So what did you end up rolling?
12, and then the initiative you said I add to it?
Yep.
That's +1, so 13.
13. Okay. All right, so here's the order. Thug number 1 goes first, followed by thug number 4, followed by you, then maggot.
This is all for the order we're doing this?
This is the order of attacks, yes.
Oh, shit. I thought it was just trying to see who... Okay.
Then maggot, then the other guy, then the last guy. So you...
When does Riggs get in there?
Riggs is after you... No. After Maggot and the other guy. He's like almost next to last. He rolled a 1, so that was not good for him.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so...
It's freaking gimp-like.
So, yeah, I know. He moves slow. He's a slow dude. Yeah, he's old.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, I should take a swing at these guys. But anyway.
All right, so the first guy pulls his... he's got like a club, right? Like a spiked club he pulls off of his hip because he doesn't want to kill you. So he comes to run at you and he takes a swing.
Wait, so I missed Maggot with my swing?
No, but the minute you started to move, they all jumped. So there was no surprise because you didn't surprise them.
Oh, I failed the surprise.
Failed to surprise them or blindside them. They saw it coming a mile away.
So essentially as if I missed and now we're fighting.
Yeah, no, you didn't even miss. You went to go grab for it and they all immediately started moving. Because they saw you making a move, as opposed to being surprised.
So am I still in the motion of going for it?
You're in the motion of going for it, yeah. You could be moving.
Just looking at the scenario and seeing already that I'm fucked. I didn't surprise anybody.
So, and there's a couple different things you can do with movement. You can do, everybody gets a movement phase of the round.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also like the attack phase of the round. Or you could forego the attack and do just an entire round of movement, in which case you move like, I think it's like up to 3 times your speed. But you can move 30 feet in any given movement phase of a round, which is your base speed for everybody pretty much. Except for Riggs, which is like 3, because he's fucking gimpy with his fucked up leg. So he pulls his spiked club, almost like a mace or a morning star, and he moves. He tries to move between you and Maggot so that you can't hit him. Mm-hmm. And he takes a swing at your feet to try to knock you off your feet. He rolls. Okay, so what's your defensive modifier? What's your defense? You're not wearing any armor.
13.
He rolled a 7 plus 3. So he goes to swing his club, and he swings, and it just whizzes right by you. Kind of nicks your rags that you're wearing just a little bit and tears it, but he misses you with this club that basically has like nails or spikes driven through it. And the second guy does something very similar. He comes in, and he decides he's going to try to tackle you to the ground.
Okay.
So your defensive modifier is what?
13.
He rolls a 6. So
nice.
Dum Dum, this dice sucks, but Dum Dum tries to jump at you and he basically misses.
It doesn't suck. It sucks for you.
It's great for you. Yeah. No, this is playing out perfectly. And he kind of slides across the rubble to the ground, and he's laying. So let me see.
Oh, and I can update the map.
Well,
this is a lot of work DMing.
Yeah, it is. This guy runs over and he tries to hit you. This guy runs over and tries to tackle you. He's kind of behind you over here now. And this guy's in front of you, engaging you in melee combat, and he misses you. So now it's Maggot's turn.
Oh boy. This guy probably has.
He reaches down and he pulls his sword from its sheath. And it looks like it's something high tech. You've never seen him pull it before. But as he grabs the handle, it starts to vibrate at a very high, like the blade is literally moving at a high frequency in his hand. You can hear this hum emitted from it, like a whine almost. It's very unnerving sound, like as he's holding it, as just the blade is ringing in his hand. And he proceeds to take a swing at Riggs, right at the legs, right at the one leg that's like mechanical.
Oh, shit.
And as he swings, it kind of ricochets off the outside of the metal harmlessly, and there's a spark, and a big chunk of metal goes flying out and embeds itself in the wall behind it, and he spits at the ground angrily. Fuck.
That was a legitimate roll, folks.
That was a legitimate roll, and I'm bombing right now on this.
And you're pissed off that you're not kicking my ass right now.
No,
which is
but I can't do. I mean,
unnerving.
Jesus Christ, it's 5. It's like
it's 5 against 1.
Yeah. with 2, but
I feel really bad what I did to Riggs right now. I'm starting to regret my decision. And I'm still reaching for this fucking poker in the fire.
Yeah, you're still moving. Well, you rolled a what? Your
13.
Your initiative was a 13?
No, initiative is 1, right?
No, but what did you roll?
My defense was a 13.
But you rolled a 13. Oh, shit. Yeah. You should have went before Maggot. So actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take that back, and you're going to...
wait a minute. He missed. Now he's going to end up smashing me in the head?
We're going to make that be hit the outcome of that, which we shouldn't. But so you rolled a 13, so what do you want to do to him? Your idea was to get the poker and go at his chin with it, right?
So now, as I'm going for the poker, 2 guys come at me, and I kind of manage to avoid them, or they just really suck at what they're doing, and they're miss
just
me.
Inept. Yeah.
They're inept and miss me.
Yep.
So I'm the element of surprise is gone.
Gone, yeah. So you don't have to go for the poker. You could choose just to do whatever you want.
So, but who's closest to Riggs? Maggot, right?
Maggot is right in front of Riggs. Yeah. You're kind of off.
So my concern is Riggs right now. Okay. So, I have a stick in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this works. I don't know how combat works too much, but I was reaching for the poker. Did I get the poker? Is it in my hand yet?
Are you continuing with that action?
Oh, I'm okay. So I'm on the middle of that action.
You were kind of moving towards it, but you didn't get to it. When everything kind of all hell broke loose.
Okay, so as it looks like I'm reaching for the poker,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to use like another surprise tactic. The stick is in my other hand,
mm-hmm.
and I'm just going to wing it at his head before I even get close to him.
So you're going to throw it at his head. What's your ranged attack modifier?
My ranged attack is 14.
What is that again? Let me double check that. Make sure that's the right thing I'm asking. Ranged is 14?
Yeah.
How the hell is it 14?
It's dexterity. When I have a
no,
plus 1.
No. That's your dexterity modifier.
Oh.
I was going to say, Jesus Christ, dude. Plus 14 is
no, my modifiers are listed here. Dexterity modifiers here.
Yeah. So 14 is...
And then but what's my... second, third, and fourth.
No, don't worry about that. In the class, you should only get your dexterity.
What's my class base then? I don't know what my class base is.
Your class base should be...
I just added it because it said range and it said dexterity, so I just put my dexterity there.
Yeah, it's your dexterity modifier.
Okay.
Plus class base. You know what? That's a good point. This is where we're going to... Sorry, folks. We're going in the books.
Okay, no problem.
This is one of the things that we missed before.
But you get the attack, right? Like reaching for the poker. He sees me, and I just take the stick with my left hand.
Yeah, you can throw the stick. It's not something that's meant to be thrown.
Maybe I, just hit him off the head just enough to stun him.
So you're going to get some negatives, but you can certainly try it.
Probably a bad time to take a bite out of a pretzel while you're looking something up. But geez, we got right into the meat of this thing, man. Wouldn't the guy call me his little piggy?
His little piggy.
Fucking.
Do you like that? Do you like that little touch I put in there?
Jesus
when you said
Christ.
You were like a fat little kid and you were not supposed to survive, you thought, you could just picture them behind you going, oh, look at this little piggy. He's never going to make it.
Poor Riggs is like, you fucking could have just went back in your fucking cell. That's what I should have did.
Your attack bonus with a range is your base attack bonus plus dexterity modifier plus range penalty plus size modifier. Where the hell do I tell your... Is it a part of classes?
So my base attack bonus, I have 3 under weapons. So do I just add 1 to that and have a range of 4?
No, your base attack modifier is plus 3, yeah. So that's what it is. It's plus 3 plus whatever your other modifiers are here. So your base is plus 3 for everything.
Okay, so that's where in class rank A?
Or where it says base.
Doesn't say base.
Doesn't say base here?
No, that's total.
Yeah.
Oh, class base. Class A, B, and C base.
Okay. So your class base is
3 plus 1 is 4.
Yep. So we're going to call this a... his defense is... Okay, roll.
D20, right?
Yep. D20.
That's why they call it D20, I guess.
That is why they call it D20. Most everything is D20.
Oh,
8 plus
8.
what? Plus what?
Plus 4.
All right, so you throw the stick, and You whiz it past. What does that get you? 12 or 13? 8, 9, 10,
12.
11, 12. Okay. So your slideshow. So yeah, you throw it. It kind of skitters off and clicks across the ground harmlessly. It wasn't really even close to him.
Great. So now it's his turn.
So his turn is we're going to go with the preordained outcome, which is he swings a sword and he chunks a chunk out of his leg. And then we go to the next tool, who rolls a 4, and as he tries to shoot you
Let it be
with a slug thrower.
We were a bunch of stormtroopers in this
Yeah,
cave.
it's bad.
We're all just missing each other.
He literally pulls his gun out and it goes off like halfway up and and he hits the ground.
He almost shoots his toe.
Yep. And then the last guy, he pulls his club and tries to run at you because all hell's breaking loose. Actually, he's going to run at Riggs and just try to take Riggs down.
Okay.
Actually, no. Riggs goes first. So Riggs is going to take his staff and try to basically crack Maggot right in the side of the head.
I need you right now, buddy.
I'm going to change dice for Riggs just because I feel like I have to change dice.
Is that a 20? You said
This
it's
is
a 20? All right.
It's a 20. I'm not rolling a 12 because I know I haven't rolled anything over a 12. Riggs slams this pole into the side, tries to slam his bow staff, his pole, right in the side of Maggot's head. And he rolls a 20. All right. So he's got to roll again to get a critical hit.
He does? Why?
Yeah, because it used to be 20 was a double damage critical hit, which is still he hits him. But in order for him to get the double damage and everything, he has to roll and modified get to 20 again.
Okay.
And he got there. So he takes the staff.
Wait a minute, is that 18?
It's an 18.
Holy shit. Stick with that dice.
Yes.
Well, no, use the
not
black
for the other
one.
guys,
Right.
Because that would have been the end of you, dude. That would have been very stressful for me if I had ended you right off the bat.
Right.
So,
That would be funny if I would have died in the second bonus episode.
Riggs takes his staff and he smashes it into the side of Maggot's head, and he does 5 points of damage. And as he cracks it, this blood starts dripping from the side of his face.
Yes.
And he goes down to a knee.
Yes.
Okay. And now the last fool gets to go. And I'll roll green for the back. And he rolls a 2. And the bad stuff
that thing
continues.
stinks.
He literally almost trips over himself. As
These are real rolls,
Yeah,
folks.
these are terrible. It's really quite a variance here.
No, but this is working out great for me.
All right, so then we go all the way back around to the first guy who has the club, and he's basically standing in front of you now.
When
and
do
actually,
I go?
You go at.
I already missed.
You go
I
at
just missed that
13.
one. Okay.
You're at 13. So it's this guy, the other guy, and then you.
Oh, so those numbers you have listed there, that's the order that they go.
More or less, yeah.
I got you.
This guy, then this guy, and then you.
I see. Yep.
Okay, and this is Meecho.
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 Meecho, not Chio.
Meecho.
No, Meecho.
Okay. Anyway, so this guy tries to swing his club at you.
I'm not a physicist. I'm a freaking slave.
And he swings his club. Oh, sorry, I almost rolled the wrong die. And he rolls a 14.
It's going to hurt.
So, when your defense is what? You got 14 too?
My defense is 13.
13. Okay, so he hits you right in the side with this club with these spikes in it. And he does 4 points of damage to your hit points.
It's a 23.
So you temporarily keep the 23, but just put next to it like 4, yeah. And we'll add it up when you get close. Okay. And you could feel the heat of your blood pouring down your side.
Oh, great.
From this hit. It was more of a scratch, but it's a good scratch.
Yeah.
All right. And then the other guy is trying to get up. He's actually prone, so he needs to take a round to stand up. And turn around to face you. But he is now behind you. This guy's down on the ground. This guy fell here, and this guy is running this way and shooting at you.
Whoa. Someone's shooting at me?
Well, the one guy pulled his gun. It's basically
Oh, that was the guy that was shooting into the ground.
Yeah, he shot into the ground.
All right, so we have 2 guys on the ground. Maggot's on a knee, and one guy fell on the ground.
And this guy, this guy's getting up.
Okay.
All right, and it's your turn.
Is anyone close to me on the ground?
Nobody's close to you on the ground. This guy is facing you, fully engaged now.
Fully engaged with me?
Yep, and there's a guy behind you.
And there's a guy behind me.
Who's getting up. So next round, he'll be able to attack you.
All right. There's no sense using him as like some sort of like... well, the guy who's facing me, is that the guy with the gun?
No, there's the guy with the spike club who's actually right in front of you, and the guy with the gun is on the other side of the fire. He actually shot into the fire. Maybe the flames kind of distracted him.
But you said I'm between two guys.
Yeah.
They're both with clubs.
This guy has a club. This guy's getting up off the ground. He has nothing out.
And is this me?
This is you here.
Okay, and Riggs is where?
Right over here.
In front of Maggot, who's down.
Who's down?
I have to deal with...
You got to deal with what's in front of you, man.
I got to deal with one of these two guys. I'm going to get the closest guy, and I don't have the stick in my hand anymore because I was foolishly threw it.
Yep.
And I never even grabbed the poker.
No.
Okay. I'm going to.
And this is a fire pit here.
And that's the fire pit there. I was going to say either I try to push him in the fire or tackle him into that fire.
Okay.
I think I have a better chance of just I think I'm just want to tackle him. I want to get this guy down on the ground to see if I could subdue him somehow. Or
okay.
I don't know. This whole thing fucking fell apart on me.
Yeah. Best laid plans of mice and men. All right. So you're going to tackle him. So what's your grapple modifier?
Well, obviously wrong, right? So yep. It's a 3, so a 5.
Okay, so it's +5. That's not bad.
And this is also... I'm also a 5 melee.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. All right, so roll a d20 with the difficulty of a 14. You want to get over a 14 with the die roll plus your modifiers. 11 plus
5
is 16.
16.
So you hit. So you tackle him to the ground. You do 1d4 plus your strength damage as he goes to the ground. That guy was the first
1d4 plus what?
Plus your strength modifier.
Plus my modifier, so
yep.
+2.
Yep.
5.
All right. So you do 5 points of damage to this tool. Okay.
Now my moves are over. I can't
That's
like disarming him or anything like that.
No, I mean he's down on the ground and you have him pinned, so he will not be able to attack. He will have to escape from your grapple in order for him to attack you. So you guys are like on the ground wrestling now, more or less.
Okay.
The other guy is getting up. He's the guy that's behind you, and he's going to come and try to put you in a chokehold. He's going to try to grapple you too. Your defense is what? 14?
13.
He rolls a 5. The bad rolls continue. So he basically tries to grab you, and you're thrashing around with this other guy. And he's like, he really just can't get a hold of you.
Okay.
Actually, I think I screwed that up because the first guy attacked, the second guy attacked.
Well, one guy needed the turn to turn around. Is that why?
Yeah. So that was the guy with the gun. He tries to shoot again, and he shoots over your shoulder and misses, actually.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. We're rolling around on the ground.
Yeah. And then the other guy he pulls his, actually, before he gets to go, Griggs gets to go again, and he turns and pulls a metal iron from the fire and hurls it at one of the other guys while Maggot is down on a knee, bleeding and surprised.
Okay.
He hurls it at the guy with the gun because he seems to be actually
the biggest threat.
Biggest threat, yeah.
Even though he can't shoot the damn thing.
Yep. And he rolls a 15.
I like Riggs, man.
It just goes right into his chest, and not only does it do fire damage, but some heat damage, but it also does the spearing damage. So he does 6.
Whoa, he rolls a
plus
6?
4. He does 10 points of damage to the gun guy. And the gun guy is writhing in pain, and his clothing is starting to smolder and burn.
Nice.
So the other guy with the club is going to try to hit Griggs with the club. And he rolls a 2. This dice is terrible. And he misses. This is a club guy. This is a club guy.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you were rolled a bunch of 20s just now, this campaign's over?
It could be over, yeah.
All this preparation would have been for nothing?
If I put you 5 against 2, and I would have to make sure that you would be able to get out of it, and I would have to have something in my back pocket if I needed you to get out of this situation.
Oh, okay.
And I do need you to get out of this situation.
I based on my story, it wasn't done.
It's going to end before it starts, and that's no fun. So
No.
that's not what we do. And of course,
but that's why I said these are real rolls.
They're real rolls, yeah. This is and this is a lot more dice heavy than a lot of other games online too. But I think it's important that we play it out. So we're all the way back around. What do we have? We have a guy smoldering. A bunch of them are hurt. You are moderately hurt. Griggs is completely clean somehow. And the main guy with the club in front of you has got a grapple to try to get the hell out. So what's your grapple modifier?
5.
Okay, so he's going to have to roll over a 15 minus 5 to break out. And he rolls a 20.
Oh, shit.
So he basically just throws you off of him.
Okay.
And you land on the floor. And then he spends the rest of his turn getting back to his feet. The guy behind him that tried to tackle you is the next guy up. So he's going to try to tackle you from behind. And he rolls a 16. So he basically tackles you, just spears you in the waist from behind, and you take 1 point of damage as he tackles you. Now you're not knocked down exactly with 1 point of damage, but you're hurt. All right, so that brings it back to you. So the first part of your round is getting up off the ground. Then what do you do?
Well, I don't know what constitutes a move. I mean, I'm on the ground. I have no weapons. There's 2 guys over me now, right?
Well, let's see. This guy's smoldering. This guy's getting up. This guy tackled you to the ground. So now you have 2 guys on you.
2 guys, the same 2
basically,
guys.
you have 2 guys, and Griggs has 2 guys if you include Maggot.
Right. The same 2 guys are like standing there.
Yep.
I need a freaking weapon really badly. Like it's a distractionary move, but it's not like an attack, or is it? I don't know. I'm on the ground. I want to take a fistful of the sand and dirt and throw it in one of their faces.
Okay.
And make a move for one of their weapons. I don't know if it's that 2 moves or is that 1.
Let's see if you blind them first. Make a roll with the difficulty of a 15. Actually, let's make it a difficulty of a 20 and use your dexterity modifier.
Which is just the +1.
Yep.
So I have to roll a 19.
What else do you got? Do you have any skills that would help you with that?
I keep forgetting about my skills. This knowledge was a complete waste of skill points.
No, it's only a waste right now when you're in like a pure combat situation.
I'm going to erase these numbers because this is how I use these numbers to add up, and I'm reading them as if they were my actual values. Okay. Climbing. Intimidate.
You don't have any kind of martial arts or anything like that there?
Oh, well, I have combat martial art. I have special abilities of combat martial arts, cake, weapons.
So roll that with the difficulty.
Brawl I have.
Okay. What does Brawl do? Brawl is a feat that you picked?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see.
It's a bonus feat.
That would be a really good thing to check on. I'm pretty sure Brawl is in the main D20 book. And this is where... can you hum something while I try to hum this?
Did we sing that song already?
No, we did the girl.
This lookup is brought to you by... Oh, I should read one of my ads.
Oh, please don't. There's no place for it in here.
You know, if I die in this fight, you know, I have 3 pages of backstory here that I'm just going to have to burn. And I'm going to be very pissed off. Yeah, I have...
All right, so you get an additional +1 modifier for your hand-to-hand combat for having Brawl. What's
under melee? That's melee or grapple? Hand-to-hand combat.
It would be all hand-to-hand combat. So melee
and grapple.
Well, melee is not hand-to-hand, so it would just be grapple. And then what's the other one? You said you got combat reflexes. What other feat did you say?
So my base here should be 3, plus 2 strength, and then the miscellaneous should be 1. So my grapple should be 6.
Yep.
Okay.
What's the other feat you have? Is it combat reflexes?
The other feat I have is combat martial arts.
Combat martial arts. There we go. You get a base attack bonus of +1 for that.
On everything?
Pretty much, yeah. Except for not melee or ranged, but grapple.
Grapple. So now my grapple is not +1; it's a +2.
Your unarmed attacks count as armed, which means the opponents do not get attacks of opportunity when you attack them unarmed. Blah blah blah.
So my grapple is 7.
Yep. Which would have been a lot better, but you still got them anyways.
Yeah, I got them anyway.
All right, so
it does nothing for defense.
No.
Well, combat.
There's a defensive martial arts that will do stuff just for defense.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. So, okay. So roll with your modifier of whatever plus whatever for grapple.
This is throwing. No, but is that a melee attack? Wait, what's melee?
Melee is a weapon.
Oh, that's right. When you hit with a butt of a rifle.
Range would be like shooting.
Bow and arrow.
Bow, whatever.
Ah, that damn wire. 8.
Reroll it. Or no, you rolled an 8 plus what?
7.
Well, you still hit him. So you threw the sand in his eyes.
I thought I had hit 20.
No, I changed it to a 15.
Oh.
So we're going to say he's blinded for 3 rounds. This guy. Okay. So that's good because you took out the guy with the best initiative. But the other guy is behind you, and he...
So making the move for the weapon, it has to wait.
You're going to have to wait. Yeah, next round, we'll see what you can get from him once you get there.
I got you.
He does have a sidearm,
though. The guy I just blinded?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So...
I have no firearms proficiency, though.
Yeah, you're going to fire it at a -4 penalty.
I might as well grab his club.
It's in his hand, but yeah, you could do that. So this guy tries to punch you, and he rolls a 12. What's your defense?
13.
All right, so he barely hits you and does 3 points of damage. Just kind of wings you.
Starting to hurt a little bit, yeah.
Starts to add up. All right, so that puts us at your turn. Or wait a minute.
No.
Wait a minute. No.
Maggot, right?
I screwed that up again. Yeah, I keep going back to the beginning after you go for some reason. So that guy's blinded. This guy... That was Maggot. So he gets up and he tries to...
It's tough because you're playing one of the characters, too. You're playing Riggs.
I'm trying... Well, no, that's a part of...
Riggs is an NPC?
Yeah, he is, yeah. So he gets up and tries to slash at Maggot.
Who's that?
Sorry, Maggot gets up and tries to slash at Riggs, and he misses. The next guy shoots his gun, and he wings you, and then he does, with that, sorry, not 1 point of damage. I'm going back around now.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to do this to you. 6 points of damage, sorry.
6
so
points?
take the last little 1 and make it 6, and that's where you are now.
Wait. What? What last little
What was the last damage that he did to you?
3.
Okay,
Yeah.
so change it from 3 to 6, and he wings you. The bullet wings your shoulder. So you've been scratched on the side, got a little bruise on your back when you were tackled, and your shoulder, you got winged with a bullet. Don't make it make it a 6. Sorry. Okay. So now it's Riggs' turn with a terrible initiative roll of 4. He turns and tries to... let's see, what is he going to do? Maggot is there, but he's up, so he's going to try to engage him. He's going to swing his staff and try to trip him and knock him onto the ground. Knock his feet out from underneath him, like sweep his feet out from underneath him.
Okay.
Even though he's
Is
a
this
big,
Maggot?
heavy... No, this is Riggs doing this to Maggot.
Right.
And even though he's a big, heavy dude, he's going to try to do this, but he's going to do it as a penalty. So
With the penalty he has?
And he rolls a 13, and while he doesn't sweep him off his feet, he does do 6 points of damage.
Wow. See here, that hits the leg pretty well.
Yeah. All right. So there's one more guy with a club. He's going to try to swing it at Riggs, and he hits a 19.
Oof.
So he basically cracks him right in the side of the head.
Well, Riggs hasn't had any damage yet, so.
Not yet, but he takes 3 points of damage.
Takes 3.
All right. So we're all the way back around to the top. And the guy who's been blinded for 3 rounds now has 2 rounds left. As he kind of tries to clean his eyes and get the sand out of his eyes. Then we go to the other guy who basically just has his fist, and he is on. He's the guy that's behind you.
He doesn't have his clubs anymore.
Doesn't have a club. No, the guy that had the club was the guy that you blinded. This guy's behind.
The guy was barehanded the whole time.
He was the one who ran to try to tackle you, and
oh, that's right. It fell on the floor.
So maybe he's going to reach down and he's going to pull a knife out.
I agree.
And then take a swing at you with it.
That's the only thing this fight was missing was a knife. There it is. 16.
And he rolled a 16.
At me.
And he hits you.
I'm almost dead.
And he does 6 points of damage to you.
I'm dead, I think.
You're not dead. You have 23.
Yeah, well, that's 12.
And that's
16,
5.
17.
You're not dead yet, though.
All right.
You're not dead yet.
I'm not dead
I'm not
yet.
dead yet. All right. So it's your turn.
So 23 minus 17 is 6. I have 6 health left.
Yep. You're not doing great.
No, I have 6 health left. Okay. My whole turn will be grabbing a club from this guy's hand?
No. You could reach in and try to pull this guy's gun out of the holster.
Well, the guy who's flailing blind.
Yes. You could reach in and try to pull the gun out of his holster. Give me
But I suck with a gun.
Or you could try to take the thing out of his hand. Give me a strength. Give me a DC strength.
I'm a
check.
strong bastard, and he's flailing around.
All right.
Do I get any minus points because of my damage to myself?
No, not yet.
Like, I'd rather just wrestle it out of his hand quick and just hit him over the head with the freaking thing.
Okay. Which guy, though? The guy that's blinded for the 2 rounds, or the guy that isn't blinded?
The guy who isn't blinded.
All right, so grab the so give me a strength check to grab the club. What's your strength modifier?
My strength modifier is +2.
Really? That's it? Okay.
Well, my ability's 15.
But no, your modifier is only +2. Okay, roll.
And none of my brawl, none of my
What's your brawl modifier?
+1, you said. I get +1 for brawl.
What's your general attack modifier for grapple?
Grapple is
+6.
7.
+7. All right, roll the die. Go.
19.
Okay, you didn't need any of that. So you snag the thing out of his hand, and now if you want, you could turn and attack the other guy with it that's behind you.
You said I want to, yeah.
Right. So what's your attack roll with melee bonuses?
My attack roll, melee, I have a total of 5.
Okay, +5. Okay, so roll
because none of archaic weapons gives me nothing with a club.
Is it a feat, archaic weapons? Or is it a skill?
I think it's a bonus feat. It's a
bonus feat. It's a boner feat. Existing feats. Exotic firearm proficiency. Archaic weapons.
Oh, you have to go to the D20?
Maybe. This is what I don't like. You're flicking back and forth. You're flicking back and forth.
Yeah, I think I have to get I have to get this handbook
Archaic weapons proficiency. You take no penalty on attack rolls when using any kind of archaic weapon. A character without this feat takes a -4 non-proficiency penalty, which is pretty standard.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't give you anything other than you don't get a penalty from because you know.
Well, wait a minute, but then these guys swinging the clubs, did you give them penalties?
No, because they're all proficient in archaic weapons and
damn
firearms.
it! Fucking pulling your GM
They're
card.
Soldiers. I'm a motherfucking no limit soldier. All right, so roll your shit.
What am I rolling here?
Roll your melee with your adjustments.
So, which is I'm +5 to whatever I roll.
Yep.
You want to try and club this guy over.
You want over a 15?
Nope.
No.
No, 13.
Oh fuck! So you missed. Okay.
But I have a club in my hand.
You do have a weapon now. It does 1d6 damage. All right. So you did your turn. And now it's the gun guy's turn. Who's basically starting to catch on fire at this point. So he's going to take this turn while his clothes start to smolder. He takes another 2 points of damage, and he pulls the brand out of himself. And I'm going to give you a break on that. And now it's Riggs' turn. So everybody involved is a little bit banged up, except for a couple guys. So he's going to turn to the guy that's next to him that's not smoldering. Actually, no, he should probably worry about Maggot, huh? He's going to turn to the guy that's not smoldering, though, because he's not hurt. He's going to try to do some harm to him by kicking him with his good foot.
His synthetic leg is...
Well, he goes to kick him with a good foot, and you hear the synthetic leg kind of like a hydraulic, like... And like he kind of springs off of it, like it maybe gives him a little bit more oomph. And he kicks him. And he hits him with a 19.
19, nice.
Right in the side of the head. And does... Let me do that again. 6 points of damage. So the guy that's not hurt now has 6 points of damage.
All right.
Okay. Now it's... Okay. Now it's Maggot's turn. No. The gun guy was 6. Yeah, Maggot's turn. Sorry. So he reaches up with his sword again, and he tries to take another swing at Riggs. Once again at his legs to try to take him out. Ooh. And he rolls a 16.
That hits him.
And he basically slices his robotic leg right from his body.
Ah. Riggs.
And he does 10 points of damage.
Holy shit. That's 13 points
13 points to him. And he falls to the ground. He drops his staff and he's kind of laying on the ground. And Maggot's standing over him. His face is dripping blood. He's huffing and puffing. And that gives us to the other club guy who's standing over him and who proceeds to kick him on the ground. He's going to throw a kick right into his side.
Riggs?
At Riggs, yeah. And he hits him, and he does another 4 points of damage. So he's laying there. He's pretty much just docile. He's not getting back up again. That was just like the one little crunch just to be like, stay the fuck down, dude. So your situation is you're standing there with a club
and like 5 guys.
This guy's smoldering. Riggs is prone here on the ground, and he's got 2 guys over him. Maggot and this other guy. This guy's blinded for another one more round as he tries to figure it out, but he's starting to regain his senses. And the guy behind you is hurt, but he's not out. So
the guy who's blinded, does he have any damage to him?
He does have 5 points of damage, yeah.
This thing only does 1d6 damage. So is there
plus your strength modifier for damage, sorry. So you should do your strength too if you hit. So +2. So +2. So yeah, it'd be 1d6 +2.
I want to take somebody out. Like nobody's dying over here.
Everybody's banged up. Riggs is prone and in danger.
Yeah.
And
but I'm nowhere near Maggot, right?
I mean,
I still have these same 2 guys.
If
one
you want
blinded.
to close the distance to him, you can try. I mean, there's nothing impeding you from doing that.
So they're just standing in this stand. I guess I don't know what they're going to intend to do to him. At this point, they're going to kill us, I guess. So, damn, what the hell do I do? I gotta. Well, how? Well, Riggs isn't getting up. You said, but does that mean like he's almost dead, or
he doesn't have any, he just doesn't have any fight left in him? You could just tell that he's not moving. He's in pain. He's hurt. He's busted up. He's got no leg. He couldn't stand up even if he wanted to.
I can't beat up 5 guys by myself with a club.
So what are you gonna do?
Geez, I could run for the door, but I fucking leave Riggs by himself.
Would you run for the door, though? I mean, over the past few weeks and months, you've come to kind of love this man.
Yeah, no.
As a matter of fact, any move you make puts him in jeopardy. I mean, if any opportunity that they weren't going to kill him, I mean, and it's all kind of your fault anyways, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, what do I just yell? Stop.
You could just drop the weapon. I give up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I just yell stop and I just throw the club on the ground and say, I should have grabbed the firearm. No, no, I don't think I throw a club on the ground yet. I think I just yell stop because I don't know what they're going to do.
All right. So you scream stop, which is just completely foreign to them because they've never even heard you use your voice. You're just not allowed to. Mm-hmm. They all stop and kind of look at you. They kind of collect themselves and they all pull their weapons and take that opportunity. And Maggot says, "Are you done, boy? This little pathetic display?"
I fucking hate this guy anymore. I'm done. I'm done.
Then drop the weapon and go back to your cell. And let me show you what we do to people who overstep their bounds. You can't win. You're nothing but meat. You're my father's property, his dog.
There's nothing I can do. I go back into my cell.
So defeated, you drop and you kind of skulk back, you're turning back into the animal that you were. You could feel yourself retreating back into yourself as Maggot walks over and with one hand grabs Riggs and picks him up. And he walks over to a hook that's hanging. Your cell is over here on this side of the room. He brings him across the room and he picks Riggs up and he jams it basically through one of his shoulders and he's kind of hanging there. And he reaches into his belt and he pulls out a little handle with a little bead on it and he pushes the button and the bead goes twing and you can hear it vibrating too. And he goes, "You know what? Reach up and open his mouth for me. Boy, I want you to keep your eyes open and I want you to watch this. I want you to watch every moment. Wake him up. I want him awake when I do this." And he reaches into a pouch and he pulls out a pair of pliers. And another one of his guys basically grabs Riggs by the face and just opens his mouth up. And he reaches in with the pliers and pulls his tongue out. And you see him walk and slowly move this vibrating like wire, almost like it's a monofilament wire, closer and closer to his tongue. And he basically slowly, painfully slices his tongue off and then flings it across the room and it skids across the dusty floor and right in front of your cell. And you can just hear him screaming. His screams are muffled though because he has no tongue and it's blood's dripping down his mouth. And they're just laughing. They just think it's the funniest thing ever. The cruelty that these guys are capable of is limitless. As you sit in the cell quietly. The door's still open and they're just laughing. And he walks over and casually picks up the severed metallic leg and starts to walk away. As he leaves Riggs on the hook, just dripping blood and slowly bleeding out.
So they leave my cell door open and walk away?
Yep.
Did they exit the room?
They look like they walked out, yeah.
So I run to Riggs.
Okay.
I try and lift him off the hook.
All right, let me see you make a strength roll with all your bonuses. +2, right?
Yeah. Well, is my using my lifting or
no? Don't worry about your lifting. You're lifting. I know you can lift him. Just you're trying to pull him off this hook without doing any more damage. So.
Oh, so it's just this plus. Because when you said all the modifiers,
yep.
It's just +2.
Yep.
Okay. 14.
So 14. You're able to pull him off the hook and you drag him across closer to the fire.
I check him to see if he's got any, or I try and bandage up the wound on his. Oh, I look for a clean piece of clothing on either myself or him.
Okay.
And I try to rip it off, and like stuff it in his mouth, try to stop the bleeding in his mouth.
Okay.
And then I try and do the same to his shoulder.
Okay.
And I'm trying to stop this guy from bleeding.
Okay. Do you have any kind of medical skills? First aid, anything?
No, I had I was going to treat injury, but I didn't.
Okay.
So
give me a 20-sided die roll. I'm going to give you a -4. We're going to see what you can do.
0.
All right. So you're kind of trying to, but it's not working out. You know, the bandage is just getting soaked with blood. He's bleeding out. He's starting to look really pale and just generally not good even before they did this to him.
Right.
But you really can't seem to stabilize him.
He doesn't seem to have any potions in his pockets. I check his pockets and try to save this
There's
fucking
no
guy.
potions.
I don't know.
Potions.
There's nothing.
No.
So this guy's just going in front of me, essentially.
Well, he's not looking good. He's starting to get a little, gray and sweaty.
I'll cover him with whatever I can to try and keep him warm and comfortable.
You cover him up with some. You go over to a stall and pull some blankets from the stall and pull him close, and you wrap him up tight, and you continue to try to, staunch the bleeding in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And as you lay over him, you're watching his life kind of slip away.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like distraught. Fucked myself. Looks like I only have 6 health, but I also so I feel terrible. So my apologies. I'm sorry, Riggs. I'm sorry. I did this. I thought we could have taken him. I thought we could have gone out. I thought we could have made it out of here, the both of us.
He's just kind of looking at you, and he's like, "Go, go." I don't know. He's got no tongue. What the fuck is he gonna say?
I think you can't go without a tongue. So
he can't.
You picked a good word.
So he kind of points over. In this corner of the room, there's like another little smaller room in a door. It's not a cell, but it's like another door, and his eyes go over towards it.
Okay. I don't think I would leave that easily. I think because I'd want to keep him around, and I'd say, I want to help you, get better. I mean, get better. I don't know. I keep trying to stop the bleeding. I keep trying to do something more.
Get me to my
What?
This is just a mumbling guy that you can't understand. Am I doing my Marlon Brando again?
Yeah, you are.
Give me some. He's kind of pointing, and this is the door out. The door out was over here. He's
pointing someplace different. Oh, so maybe I drag him there.
All right, so you drag him over to the room and you open the door, and it's like his little room, which is it's a little bit better than your room.
Jeez, I could take a hint.
He's got a little bed. I know. He's got a little bed. It's also late, dude.
Yeah.
It's late.
Yeah.
It's 12:30 on a Wednesday. So he points to a little bed, and you manage to pull him over to the bed, and he points over to a chest across the room, like a little chest.
Okay. I grab it. I bring it to him.
All right. So you open it up, and you look inside, and there's like a rucksack. There's also like a suit of like some kind of like, it almost looks like motorcycle rider armor, kind of like nowadays is what it would be like a piece of chest armor. There's some other things in there, but there's a rucksack in there. So you're assuming that's what he's looking for when you pull it out.
Okay.
And in it, there's a couple of some kind of strange canisters with nozzles on them and things.
Okay.
And you're not really sure. So we're going to do this randomly But,
What do you mean?
but so
Do what?
there's a bunch of canisters in there with nozzles. They look like they have little red crosses on them. They look like maybe.
Oh, Jesus.
But you're not really sure what is what.
Nozzles. Are they drinks?
They're not drinks.
Are
There's some kind of
they
sprays.
needles? They're sprays?
Some kind of, yes, aerosol type.
The aerosol cans.
Yep.
With X's on them. Like some sort of medical thing? Oh, I don't know.
We'll make an intelligence roll. Let's see. What's your intelligence?
10. I'm not very bright.
So roll. You're going to need a high roll.
3. Yeah.
So there's a bunch of cans and things like that, but you're not really sure. So, I mean, you could bring the
Oh, can I bring them all in front of him and hope he points one out?
Bring the rucksack in front of him, and he points to one of them.
Okay.
And he
So he's pointing
at his
pointing
wound,
at his
and he
wounds.
wants you to try to spray one of them.
Okay, so I'm gonna. I put the cans in front of him and ask him which one.
He points at one.
Okay, so the one he points at, I spray it on his.
All right, so you pick it up and you try to spray it, and it's like.
I can't even fucking work an aerosol can.
So it's not that you can't work an aerosol can. It's just that it's fucking old.
Oh, it's old.
So he points to another one, and you try again. This one, and you can see that the blood starts to coagulate, and it starts to stop, and also his pain is relieved a little bit, and he kind of starts to, his body, you could just see, kind of relaxes a little bit, and he passes out on the bed.
He passes out. Okay, so I cover him, and I use some of it on myself.
Okay.
Because I'm at 6.
All right. How much of it do you use on yourself? It heals 5 points of damage.
Okay. So I'm at 11. Let me just bring myself. I'll go 11 out of 23.
Just don't mess with your maximum. Make sure you put your maximum here and do your math in that box.
Oh, okay. Is that what that box was?
I think so, yeah.
So 23 is my max, but this is where I'm at now.
11, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to use all of it in case he needs more. I'm assuming he's going to need more.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of...
I just put a little bit on myself just to...
Very much at the bottom of the can.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of...
I'm not going to use any more.
Okay, so you're in his room. He has another little heat source in there and a light source and a really rickety bed and then whatever's in this chest.
Okay. So I examine the contents of the chest.
All right, so inside of it there's this... looks like there's a set of clothing, like almost like coverall style clothing, pants and shirt. They're clean. Mm-hmm. There's this armor vest chest piece part, mm-hmm. and then inside of it is also there's a gun.
And what time is it? At night?
It's late at night. Yeah,
it's late at night. Middle of the night. Jeez. This game's hard. And because I'm presented with everything, I could just get dressed and fucking take this gun and run out that door. I don't know if I'd make it, though. And then I'd be leaving this guy. But also at the same time, first light, I'm going to be getting dragged out of my cell, and this guy's probably be dead, and I'll never be back in this room again.
What to do. That's the sound of Nick thinking, everybody.
I don't know what to do. Okay. I'm already clothed, right? Do I need clothing?
What would your character do?
Well, I think my character trying to nurse him back to health.
But you can't do that here. Because they're going to come back here.
Right. So what if, well, so you said I have a chest plate?
There's like it's like a hard armor, like almost like a vest type thing.
Okay, so I could put all that stuff on, strap the firearm to myself, which I'm a -4 with.
Yep.
Are there any other weapons in the room?
On the walls there are some. Well, you know what? He wouldn't have weapons out because obviously that's a no-no. So, I mean, other than the sticks and the wooden swords that you guys use, which are always impromptu, there's really not much else out there.
Okay, so he was just hiding this firearm.
Yep.
So then, I take obviously taking the firearm regardless. So I take the firearm, and that was all that was in the chest. And then there's the rucksack with these cans.
Yep.
And was there any food, provisions, anything?
No.
What about his drink? That drink.
Well, out here on the fire, there's a whole bunch of, there's a pot of it boiling out on the fire.
I rush out. Are there any cups around? Mugs?
No, there's
mugs in his room.
There's all kinds of tin mugs out here that you can.
I
camp mugs.
Filled 2 of them. I fill 2 of them down one.
Okay.
And then I fill it again, and then I rush back with 2 full ones to see if he could drink some.
That heals 4 points of damage to you.
Oh, it does.
Yep. So you're at 15.
I'm at 15. Can I now? He's out cold or just groggy. Could I get any of this liquid into him if I tried?
You could try. You could try anything.
I try and get some of this liquid in it, but I don't want to drown him. You know what I mean? So it's just a very careful thing.
All right. So you try to pour some liquid into him, and he swallows a little bit of it, but he starts choking, and you eventually have to stop. And it's also causing pain to his
wound.
His tongue.
Yeah. It's missing. So,
but he's mostly unconscious. You realize that if you're going to move him, you're going to have to carry him.
Okay.
The benefits that you have is that it is the middle of the night.
Okay.
So,
is there a blanket around?
Yeah, there's a blanket on the bed. It's like a
I'm thinking
blanket.
that the outfit that is in there, that chest plate that I have on, it's not that of a guard or anything like that. It's not that of someone. It's just
it's not anything because most of the guys here are partially cybernetic and shit like that.
Wouldn't make it a good disguise or anything.
Well, I mean, it might be enough. I mean, it's late at night. I mean, I don't know. The weird part was they just walked out and left you there.
Yeah. That's very strange. Almost like goading me into it. I don't know. Maybe looking for an excuse to kill me. Maybe,
or maybe they think that you're just broken and that this wouldn't even be something that you would even consider.
Right.
You haven't yet.
Well, no. All right. So, I don't want Griggs to be recognizable on my back.
Okay.
So I'd like to wrap him up.
Okay. So
with
you wrap him up in the blanket. Okay.
In a blanket, and maybe rig him to my shoulder in some fashion, almost like over my shoulder.
Okay.
And with the rucksack and with the medicines in it, whatever. The firearm, obviously, can I conceal it in the clothing that I have? Is it concealable?
I mean, you could just shove it in the pocket of your fatigue pants. Sure.
I could shove it in the pocket.
Yep.
Okay. I do that. I take one last swig of that drink, and even though I know it's not going to do anything further, but just for the fuck of it, for all time's sake. And I poke my head out his door and look around. Do I see anything?
Do you have any perception skills?
Perception.
Any kind of awareness or search or anything like that?
No.
All right.
I think I misunderstood what streetwise and tactics was.
Yeah, tactics is pretty.
I thought tactics would help me in a fight or help me and so far I have a feeling it's going to help me analyze some historical battles.
We do like a pincer movement. Yeah.
I think it's a complete waste of all ranks.
I'll let you modify that now that you have a better understanding. But yeah,
no, that's all right.
You can live in. I mean, but if you're going to pick tactics, you have to have a reason why your guy would know tactics. If you were kidnapped at 10, why would you know tactics other than
Well, I thought this old man taught me tactics. That's what
Maybe he talked to you about military battles and how to like move formations of troops and things like that.
Yeah, how to
That's
manipulate
possible.
people. I thought is what
Maybe.
some of his what
Tactics
he would do a
is,
little bit. That's how he was going to get by.
Do we want to know? Do you want to know what tactics are?
Streetwise, I mean, had to be a little streetwise to survive.
Let's look up what he does specifically.
No, it's getting late. We're not going to make it, man. We're at past. We're like hour 40. We're actually going to drain this battery. How come you didn't have this pretzel?
Because I'm talking, I can't crunch a pretzel and talk.
I guess. I feel bad.
I don't even see tactics in here. I see treat injury.
Knowledge tactics.
Oh, knowledge tactics. Okay. E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P. J.
Knowledge tactics. Streetwise.
Tactics. Techniques and strategies for disposing and maneuvering forces in combat.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're like a general.
Well, see, I didn't have that damn manual, man.
I know.
All
I didn't
right.
think you were going to go tactics. I thought you were going to go more grassroots with some of those skills.
Well, like I thought, like how do you survive? Like how did I
Well,
make
that's
it? How was I
survival.
one of the few people who made it like this far? I must
Natural
have-
ability, move silently. I thought you would go
I
like
guess
more towards move silently.
was going to be my next feat that I picked.
Yeah, but you don't need a feat. You can buy it as a skill, I think.
You can.
And then the feat just makes it better if you go.
Right. All right.
All right, so
That's my
you
first character.
That's
Before we-
fine, dude.
No, wait a
Live
minute.
and
I do
learn.
have move. I do have move silently.
Okay.
I move silently.
I
see.
thought you bought that. But those are the things I didn't know. A lot of people don't go right to tactics and
And am I supposed to get a bonus for that?
a boner.
I may have not even done that correctly.
Am I supposed to get a boner?
Am I supposed to get a bonus? Oh no, that would be
Bonus?
only if I picked it as a.
Well, you get an additional plus.
Right.
Okay, so because it's a cat, yeah. So anyways, okay, so roll with your wisdom modifier and let's see if you,
I can climb.
It's good. Climbing's good.
Climbing will be good. Yeah. Survival. What about survival? I have survival.
Survival's good. No, survival's good. That
Does
was
that
a
help
good
me?
thing. about it.
What am I
Yeah.
rolling for?
See if you know when you poke
Oh,
your
when
head
I
out.
poke my head out.
Yep.
19.
All right. So you poke your head out, and it looks like a deserted street, and the coast is clear. It's the middle of the night, and it's just you and
And
Griggs and
Mr. Briggs.
open
Okay.
air and freedom.
All right. So I go for it. I go out the door.
All right. So you start to run out the door, and you're in a street. Let me see if I can draw it on the map for you. The arena area opens up into a street, and you have a number of ways you can go.
Oh boy, of course.
Which way? This was the arena where you just were. There's the fire burning with the pot of the stuff. Which way would you go?
Wait a minute. Where am I? Am I at the entrance?
You're right here.
Yeah.
Riggs is right here. The moon is over here.
Okay.
That's getting silly. I'm sorry.
All right. Yeah. So
So a lot of
but
empty.
do I know any of the layout of this place?
You know that if you wanted to get out, that they tend to go this way towards the main gate.
There's
To
a
get
main
out.
gate,
But it's
forward.
a lot of walking and a lot of sprawl of city to get through that.
Right.
He's not going to make. He realized you can't travel that far.
I can't travel that far. So I don't know if I have any knowledge of the nearest way to get outside of Husk's jurisdiction.
Well, what's your streetwise skill?
It's a 2.
Okay, it's a +2 modifier. What's a modifier? Plus.
The rank is 2, and I have no because it's intelligence. Intelligence I don't have
All
a
right.
modifier.
So roll 1d20 +2. All right.
20.
That's very good. You know that if you go this way, it will take you away from Husk's territory into another gang's territory. And you're also heading towards more close to the center of the city, though, if you go that way.
Okay.
Closer to where the Citadel would be.
Okay.
Well, the whole city's called the Citadel, but where the Keeper's Tower would
Where
be.
the Keeper's Tower in the center of the Citadel.
Yep.
And then, but these gangs, I mean, none of them. Well,
You also wear the brand on your chest, even though it's covered, that you are.
part of the property of somebody else, and
your
they probably
Husk's
try.
property,
They
yeah.
probably try and honor that as much as they can.
Yeah, just kill you. Who knows?
That doesn't really help, dude. I mean, it's either I go to the keepers, which that sounds like level freaking. That's like a final boss battle. It sounds like this way. I think I go that way.
Okay,
I go that way.
so you start to run down this road with just the idea that you want to look for some place where you can
hide. Yeah, hold up.
You need to hold up. So
Yeah.
you reach what you feel like is the edge of this place, and of the edge of his territory, and you start to look around in some of the buildings, and you see what looks to be like a blown out building that's mostly deserted.
Okay.
And
I approach it carefully.
All right. So after a couple of shoves with your shoulder, you're able to budge the door open, and you slide him between, and you follow into the darkness of this old abandoned blown out building that nobody's lived in. There's an old mattress on the floor, and you find a way to make him comfortable, cover him with the blanket, try to keep him stabilized the best you can, but hasn't regained consciousness. You try to situate yourself. You go through the rubble. There's really not much of use there.
Nothing there.
No.
Is it freezing? Should I try and rest?
You should definitely try to rest. I mean, at this point, you're exhausted, you're battered, you're beaten, you're bruised, and you really need to just turn the page on the day and move on.
Yeah, I mean, I need to even formulate a plan. I don't even know what the hell they can do from here. This maybe is a good stopping point, unless you had a better.
It might be a good stopping point. So you put your back to the door jamb next to the front door. It's really hard to open. You manage to get it closed, and you situate him on the mattress, and you sit there and you put your head down and you succumb to sleep.
Okay.
Your first moments of real freedom that you've had in your life. Even though you are hunted in some way, perhaps. You don't know. Why would he let you go? Why would he leave you out of the cage? Overconfidence? Is he toying with you?
Yeah.
All of the above? Did he overlook you?
Yeah.
Time will tell.
Okay. This is good, man.
All right.
Is that
I mean, I think that's a good place to stop. I think it's a fair place to stop.
Yeah.
I wanted to get us a little bit further, but
good.
combat took a lot of time. You see.
Well, yeah, I mean, I should have never started that fight, I don't think. But
Yeah, but I goaded you into starting that fight. I needed you to start that fight.
You did?
Yep.
Oh, well.
What we're going to do, go back into the cage, and then we're going to role play the next 3 years of your life as a fucking slave.
No, I don't know. It could have been a slower burn. I don't know. It's different knowing the backstory and then playing it, though.
Yeah, and I screwed up a little bit in some parts of your backstory, but I'm going to fix
all right.
it. I'm going to fix it.
No, not really. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I
we'll
think
get there.
it's-
But so that's, I don't know. That's we're still doing prologue here. But I think we're playing through some interesting aspects of the character that Nick had written out, and I thought it would be fun to play them because you see how important it is to build an enemy up and really make people
freaking hate that guy.
hate the person,
Fucking
make you want to beat him.
yeah.
But no, I think we did okay with the rules. It was a little bit clunky. It was a little book flipping from time to time, but I think we did okay.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
All
I don't know. You guys tell us how we did. If there's any D20 experts, tell me how bad I screwed up.
Yeah, me.
Tell me how cookie cutter my storyline is. I don't know.
No. I think. Listen, I think it was. I had a good time. I mean, when he rolled that 20, I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah. It's like,
It is the best.
Yeah.
It is honestly the best feeling ever.
Yeah. But really, really cool. Thanks a lot.
Cool.
All right, guys. So this will be. Well, you'll know. You'll get it. It'll be every Monday a show. Every other Monday role playing game, and every other Monday regular show. Very confusing, which is how we like it. Okay.
Yep.
Take care, guys, and keep playing out there. I guess. Right.
The end is near.
The end is near.